Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
Where we give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm DMAC.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to catch us on our other shows, The Friday Fix at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, Civil Discourse, Plays and Parlays, and UFC with LT. Hola, Senor Wesley. Looks like you are in hiding.
Hey, man, right now there's a lot of things going on that would definitely want to have me in hiding in this country right now. But we're going to start this one off on kind of a somber note. You know, we normally don't like to come up with bad news, but there seems to be a lot of it happening right now.
Tell me some good news, and I'll tell you no one wants to hear it.
Death toll from a catastrophic flooding in Texas over the July 4th weekend surpasses 100. The death toll from the catastrophic flooding in Texas over the July 4th weekend surpassed 100 on Monday as search and rescue teams continued to wade in the swollen rivers and use heavy equipment to untangle trees as part of the massive search for missing people. Authorities overseeing the search for flood victims said they will wait to address questions about weather warnings and why some summer camps did not evacuate ahead of the flooding that killed at least 104. The officials spoke only hours after the operators of Camp Mystic, a century-old all-girls Christian summer camp in Texas Hill County, announced that they lost 27 campers and counselors to the floodwaters. Kerr County officials said Monday 10 campers and one counselor still have not been found. Searchers found the bodies of 84 people, including 28 children, in the county home to Camp Mystic and several other summer camps, officials said. With additional rain on the way, more flooding still threatened the saturated parts of central Texas. Authorities said death tolls were sure to rise. The rage flash floods among the nation's worst in decades slammed into camps and the homes along the edge of the Guadalupe River before daybreak Friday, pulling sleeping people out of their cabins, tents, trailers, and dragging them for miles past floating tree trunks and cars. Some survivors were found clinging to trees. Piles of twisted trees sprinkled with mattresses, refrigerators, coolers littered the riverbanks Monday. The debris included reminders of what drew so many to the campgrounds and cabins in the Hill County: a volleyball, canoes, and family portraits.
Yeah, you know, man, and the flood came in so quick. I think it was like 12 feet of rain came in, and I mean, people were standing there like, "Look, it's coming down. It's coming down right now." You could see it hit the river, and you could see how just quickly it filled up. They had no warnings. There was nothing telling them that the flooding was going to be this bad because the Doge cuts stripped the NOAA and the weather services of the people that they need to be able to monitor all this.
Let me say this really quick. There's been a lot of very, very drastic weather events that's been happening over the past year and a half since we've been doing the show. And I want to say that a lot of times, I pull back like, hey, where are we talking about this fire over here or this flooding over here that's happening? Some of them that happen every now and then. And what I get a lot of times, I begin pushback from like, hey, these are serious events that are happening right now. And now I'm starting to see that these things are starting to become it's starting to become a major pattern that devastating weather events are happening more and more. So I do want you to kind of touch on what you think is happening here and why it's important that we talk about the cuts that's happening to the systems that are here in place to kind of let us know that this is coming.
Well, yes. See, what I realized a long time ago, and I've learned through a lot of science that, weather change is real. And there's a lot of places like, think about it. Southern California, Florida, and parts of the lower Midwest is going to be uninhabitable in the next about 10 years. You won't be able to live there. Think of California as a powder keg. Florida is going to be underwater. The Midwest is going to have constant tornadoes all the time. All this matters. And it matters to have people be there able to tell you, hey, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. Imagine there was tornadoes that was hitting, I think it was like Oklahoma or something like that, and they had no warning. You know what I'm saying? A couple months ago, like tornadoes were hitting. They're like, no one warned us about the tornadoes. That's because the weather service is taken down. California with Arkansas. The fire. Arkansas. Think about all these places right now. Even the tropical storm that just hit the East Coast, they had no warning about it. And then the Pentagon they're knocking down the satellite that actually monitors the hurricanes. Because the thing that's important about it, you have to understand. Usually, when stuff like this happens, you have administration in power that actually knows how to take care of the people that pay the taxes for this. Hey, you may be upset that they don't get there fast enough, but they get there. But when you have an administration that's going to take your money and that's supposed to be used for your safety and your care after a natural disaster happens to you, and they're going to take that money and just pocket it, then you should be concerned. That's why I always bring all this stuff up, because there's one thing you can't control, and that's the weather. A cloud can turn, a tornado can twist. You know what I'm saying? A storm, an earthquake can happen at any time. And just to monitor where it's all happening, I always feel that's just really important news. I've been in a 7.2 earthquake. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
the thing is, we had to be on the top of the really quick. We had to be on the top of the mountain in Adak, Alaska. And someone had told the parents, they were like, "Oh no, the child care where all the kids are collapsed. All the kids are dead." And the parents had two choices. They could have stayed up a mountain and cried about it, but some parents were like, "F that, I want to go see." And they came down there. They picked us all up before the tsunami came onto the island. You know what I'm saying? So you can always listen to somebody who doesn't know and they don't care, but then you can just go by the data. And you have to see things for yourself. And we're in for a world of hurt. This is the first half year of the Trump administration. And besides the planes crashing, the floods, and everything else, it's like we're in for a long couple years.
They said that actually they found like three or four girls who were sisters together with their hand like holding hands. They found them in the floodwaters, not alive. I mean, they found, like you said, 27 kids, man. That's a lot of children. You know what I mean? You got people who are like Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, who was staunchly against California getting any kind of FEMA aid or any aid from the government whatsoever when they had their fires that ravaged through their through their state, through LA. I mean, and now he's asking for FEMA aid. It's just, to me, man, this shows the divisive rhetoric coming back home to roost. You know what I mean? Like, so you guys suffer from a lot of floods down there in Texas. You're going to need a lot of aid from the federal government. It's going to happen over and over again. It's going to happen all over the country. Right now, they have flooding going on in North Carolina, where I just saw a huge apartment complex just washed out from behind. They just had a huge flood basically because of not even of hurricane type weather that's going on this early in July. I mean, so we need to really start paying attention to what's going on here and not try to hide, weather change, climate change. This is happening, and
the administration right now, wants to hide it. That's why they're getting rid of the weather service. That's why because it all leads to climate change, and they've lobbied so much against it for some reason. Who knows why they don't care about climate change? That's what boggles me. Why do you care? Why do you look? Okay, the climate's changing, yes, but then actually it also goes back to fossil fuels. It also goes back to the heating of the earth, and it goes back to billionaires making money. The people that just got these tax cuts don't care if you survive it or not. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know what they look at? They look at that land that they just washed you off, and they look at that prime real estate.
I mean, the biggest thing right here, right now, we really need to start looking out for each other more and understanding that things are going to happen throughout this country, all over this country. We're all going to have problems. And this is why we have a federal government the way that it's supposed to have been built before this divisive administration got into office, man. But, we're going to keep a close eye on things like this, of course, because this is what we do, but we really want you guys to stay safe. And we want to say, our condolences to the people who have passed away down in Texas.
Yeah. And then just like you brought up in North Carolina, said over 80 people have been rescued by boat in Durham County, North Carolina, after flooding from heavy rain swallowed whole neighborhoods overnight. And we're going to show you the video. As I'm saying that, you're going to see the video playing. And this is what we have to say. Look, FEMA's not coming. They're not coming. There's no more FEMA. And that's who usually come. Oh man, thank God FEMA got here. They may not be perfect, but at least they were there.
And now it's up to food, all kinds of stuff for you, at least to be able to, kind of get you through the times. I mean, everyone hated on that $700. That's an initial check. Here you go. We're not even asking questions. We're pretty much giving you the money. If you're from this area, here you go. Now you can go apply for everything else that you got coming. But this is what the federal government does. But what do you say? Oh, we want the states to go ahead and start taking, handling these situations. Yeah, I mean, this is why are we paying taxes to the federal government then if the federal government's not here to help us? This is a part of tearing apart the fabric of our federal government and what we are as a country. This is exactly what he was sent here to do. This is what he's here doing right now.
Remember you're supposed to get $5,000 from them Doge cuts. Everybody remember that? Everybody's all hyped thinking about what they're going to spend it on. Think about it. They cut all these programs, but the money's still coming in. And who gets the money? The billionaires. The billionaires.
Absolutely.